Ladies and gentlemen, I do apologize. My video show is taped by use of my cell phone. And the devil is busy because two people have called in the midst of my telecast, and that interrupted the telecast. And I want to leave the part one because it has some very valid information in it. So if you don't mind, you got time to stay a few more minutes in class, if you would go to part two and listen at the remainder of the class. As I was saying, ladies and gentlemen, there was some ministers present, at least 8 or 9, not more than 10, out of all of our African American, and to some, but to me, black churches in our city, where was the rest of the pastors. But ladies and gentlemen, they began to speak. I am Pastor so-and-so, pastor of such and such a church. Do the right thing. Our children matter. We need to leave that school open. And then it went on with some very valid points, spoke very eloquent, and I enjoyed every word that was said and was glad to see them. My only thing is that their presence was too late. If you remember months and months past, I've said, where are the faith-based community? No one called me and said, Brother Merriweather, what can we do? What can we do to save our school? But ladies and gentlemen, parents who does not look like me, teachers who does not look like me, they came out, they spoke. I remember the gentleman sitting next to me who brought his little sons that did not appear to be over 8 years old, standing there with signs, save our schools. I read not one sign from anyone looking like me and the superintendent. I looked around and I did not see but one member from my church. That was Mr. James Johnson, who's been a big supporter of mine, who have always came forward, spoke out, want to make a difference in his community. But the question on the floor is, where in the hell are the rest of the members of this community? In the Denmark community, they sit there. They sit there. While this superintendent that we have now before our brother come in, hired a Caucasian principal, Caucasian assistant principal, Caucasian guidance counsel, and I heard a little girl say, Professor Merriweather, I'm having a problem with this student who happened to be Caucasian. And I have talked to the principal and nobody's doing anything. And I looked at her and says, have you tried praying and talking to your mother? Because ladies and gentlemen, how can you get justice when everybody that you're complaining about looks like each other? So, ladies and gentlemen, I fault the people of the Denmark community who sit there and let that happen. So since they was quiet, the county commissioners and the school board got together, decided to give that school, close that school, and give it to law enforcement. And ladies and gentlemen, you won't believe what the hell they decided to do with it. It's a law enforcement training ground. Training how to kill more people looking like me and the superintendent. That's what our community got. And you want me to rejoice with you? And you're doing nothing? It's only what you do when the benediction is given that's important. But ladies and gentlemen, these ministers spoke very eloquent. And I said to the pastor sitting next to me, they have closed another school. And so, ladies and gentlemen, they called for the vote. And they did exactly what Merriweather said. They closed the school and kept Nova Elementary open. That's the school that I'm showing you now. So they kept talking about the climbing wall and the therapists. Ladies and gentlemen, the therapist was at this old school before the tornado, before the hail damage. See, buildings don't make difference. People make difference. Ladies and gentlemen, think with me. Am I the only one that's got any sense? And I don't believe that. But what are you doing with your education? You say you're smart. You say you're intelligent. What the hell are you doing with it? No one was saying anything while Whitehall Pre-K didn't have any storm damage. They didn't talk about the therapy. They didn't talk about the rock wall. They didn't talk about the resources. They didn't talk about nothing. They just continued to allow the kids to not have space to do. They was in closets. Downstairs in the basement, not a window, plywood. Outside there was deteriorating, mold and mildew, paint peeling. No one said anything until the school got damaged by hail and then moved to Nova. Then all of a sudden, the teachers, which are predominant, doesn't look like me and the superintendent, did not want to return. And they won out because they stuck together and they spoke in numbers. And my community was quiet, except Meriwether, Baxter, Sheila, and James Johnson. Ladies and gentlemen, what a shame. What a shame for the so-called Christian people. So, ladies and gentlemen, they have closed another one of our schools in our thing. And Baxter and I went out to look at it. On this coming Monday, Reverend Baxter and I again has gotten permission to go and tour Whitehall School, where they spend $750,000 and now have closed that. No one said, that's ridiculous. We will not stand for that. But ladies and gentlemen, our children are not being properly taught in our system. It's time that we do the same as the parents and the teachers at Nova. Take an interest in our children. But we got to be different. We got to do the right thing. We can't think about us. We got to think about them. I just ask you each week to come and join me. That's all I ask you to do. Something that doesn't cost any money at all. I ask you to show me your faith. Show me your Christianity. Show me your care and your concern. So far, I have not gotten that. I've gotten lip service. I'm in class. You're a liar. You never been to class. You got an F for no attendance. I hear what you're saying. I appreciate what you're doing. Liar. If you appreciate it, you will support me. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a sad day. I need to get out of here. Clock on the wall says it's time to go. But we're growing up in my community and your community, shepherdless. Again, shepherdless. We have no leadership. And the powers that be are taking advantage of that. They got no leader. They're not together. They're not talking. And ladies and gentlemen, some of those pastors that was present had opened their churches to politicians that doesn't look like me and you. And what have we got? They turned their back and we put them in office. I shall not support anyone that does not support all children. All matters lives. All children are important. That's my statement. I don't care anymore for my children of color than I do for yours. I care about all children. Nowhere during my tenure as administrator would anyone tell you that I made a difference, that I treated the whites better than the black. Everybody stood on their own bottom. Everybody was on their own merit. That's what we need. Ladies and gentlemen, our incoming superintendent will not take office until July 1. If this superintendent, and no if any, this superintendent hired 105 that doesn't look like me and the superintendent. So, ladies and gentlemen, what the hell you think she will do this time? Graduation is coming up in May. Lambers, Union, Freed-Hardeman, Bethel will have teachers coming out, and they're looking for employment. And if we have 105 people that doesn't look like me and the superintendent, what will we have for the 2017-2008 year? And they're closing down our schools, and our kids having to be bused. Now the kids who was going to go to pre-K, they will be going to Lincoln. 2 of the classes will be there, and to Arlington, which is further away from Whitehall School. It reminds me of slavery. Our kids have friends in school just like they do. And I can imagine Johnny saying to Susie, I won't see you next week, next year. I'm going to a different school. I'm going to miss you. I wish you the best. I love you. Bye. and their kids are being kept together while you sit by and idly do nothing. Shame on you, your so-called intelligent, ignorant self. Sit there and let this you fill in the blank happen. I am not surprised of you. Ladies and gentlemen, I got to get out of class. The clock on the wall says it's time to go. Let me end this by saying to you, only what you do for Christ will last. Ladies and gentlemen, there is a meeting that this organization is having with the new incoming black superintendent. But ladies and gentlemen, the harm has already been done. Why put more on his plate when we could have worked out a whole lot of things before he came in? Ladies and gentlemen, mark my word, I'm talking to the people in my hometown. We just closed another predominant black school in the inner city. Mark my word, because I'm listening to the good old boys on the other side, and they're talking about reopening Melissa's Elementary. Why? Two of the most powerful Republicans commissioners lives in that district, and they are going to put that on the plate of the new superintendent. While he can be working to help all children, he will be pulled away to talk about opening a school in the elite Melissa's area. Why are we putting that on our newly elected superintendent? While you sit back and don't say anything. Oh, I'm not going to ask Mr. Merriweather anything. I know everything. You're a liar. You don't know it. The reason you can't ask intelligent questions because you don't have the question to ask. You don't know what the hell's going on. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm out of here. I hope that I have said something that will pierce your conscience and make you say, enough is enough. I'm going to finally get up and fight for all the children. Ladies and gentlemen, until next week, I'm your host, Morris Merriweather, the author of Enough is Enough. Public education has spiraled out of control. I trust that you will join me. But if I have to go alone, I will. If I ask myself, do I think about what you think about me? I don't. I don't spend a second thinking about you. I'm too busy gathering the strength and praying and moving forward and questioning and attending meetings and touring buildings. But when I heard the principal of the school that closed say to Reverend Baxter and I this past week, you know, you too, Reverend Baxter and Professor Merriweather, you are the only two people that look like me and you and the superintendent who have come to this school looking to see what's going on and lending your support, giving me your business card saying, whatever we can do, we're here to help you. I wish the other community would back us because there was problems at that school and I tried to get help, but it fell upon deaf ear. Shame on you, ladies and gentlemen. Shame on you. I hope that you have a blessed day. And remember that I'm not fussing at you. I'm hoping to pierce your conscience. And if I don't, may God have mercy on you. Until we meet again in class, take care and remember that God loves you, and I do too. Take care, my friends.